Thank freaking goodness. Thought it wouldn't come on. Now, wait for my best friend to show up and other people.
This style of TV cartoon animation is known for its exaggerated squash and stretch, anticipation, pose to pose, follow through, and arc. And there's utilization of motion smears, facial expressions, deformation of character, body horror, slapstick gag comedy, and full body animation, as opposed to most TV animation that, for budget and time reasons, wouldn't animate more than necessary. In this video, we're going to start with a quick overview of the animation of the original 3 Crash games on PS1 and Vicarious Visions remakes of the game.
Ooh.
Then we'll follow up with a review of the animation of Crash 4 by comparing it with the past
This should
titles
be
and how they
good.
all utilized various animation techniques, both in form and in function.
By the way, best friend, I kind of intended for the roleplay to focus more on Megs becoming like a Joker clone and stuff. So I kind of want a little bit more focus on Megs after after the real Joker made his first appearance. But how am I gonna do that? So Megs is in the hospital. She's had a blood transfusion. She's seen Joker hallucinations. I'll figure something out.
Crash succeeded where other mascots failed through the creative programming and clever problem solving by the team at Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog's motto
Lisa
was,
sneaks
bite off more
away.
than we can chew.
I know you're there,
Some
my
crazy
dear.
public
You
music.
can't hide from me.
I think a lot of programmers and
I think I might have a bit of chocolate. Oh, okay. Yeah, she was tired. By the way, I'm going to just grab myself a little snack. A little live stream snack. Wanna bite my dear?
designers can relate to this. To achieve the animation style desired for Crash, the team opted for vertex animation rather than just a skeleton system. This meant that they could deform the vertices of Crash's model however they wanted. However, real-time vertex animation was not something the PS1 was capable of. In fact, what the PS1 was capable of was really a mystery that Naughty Dog had to crack, as there was information that Sony just didn't share with all their developers, and their documentation was poorly translated to English, so it was even harder for
They
Western
must have
studios.
used computer
Andy Gavin,
animation since it
co-founder
was
of
the
Naughty Dog,
90s.
explains how the games run and how the team had to basically exploit the PlayStation hardware to use it to its fullest potential. In addition, they had to figure out how to work around the inevitable
That is
limitations
computer
which led to
animation.
these signature
That's how I made
tunnel-like
it.
level designs. Regardless of how the games look now, people believe in the first footage that Crash was fake. The level designs were carefully optimized for the hardware, and the animations had to be compressed and baked.
Oh,
Other characters that tried to be
time.
the PlayStation mascot, while not entirely the fault of the developers, simply did not have Naughty Dog's ingenuity and resourcefulness. They just weren't capable of animating, expressing, or controlling this well. Now, for the majority of looking back at the original games, we're going to look more so at Crash 2 and 3 going forward. Andy Gavin had rewritten
Best to stay well away from Joker. I never Jokers. I will not be. Joker is a dangerous person. He is too dangerous.
the engine used for the games, and the potential was taken even further with fewer compromises. Now, Crash isn't a complex character. He's a crazy lunatic in the same vein as the silent Looney Tunes character. In fact, basically everyone in these games are basically lunatics, with the one exception being Coco to a degree. However, Crash 1 Crash is a kind of distinct character. He's so much more intimidated by the obstacles he has to face than the others. While Looney Tunes inspired, Crash is by no means a Bugs Bunny here. He isn't the source of the chaos, he is the victim. This trait kind of becomes more subtle in later games, but
Look at the
it's great
expression as he's
nonetheless.
running.
Now, how do we infer this from how he's animated? Well, for example, given how often you'll see Crash run, it's an important animation for both his personality and it must be functional. The silhouette of his running animation is pretty clear from the sides, but remember that Crash was designed for 3D. I didn't mention staging as one of the principles earlier, but it is an important one for Crash. Arguably, his silhouette from behind could be better, but his giant shoes or giant face supply the clarity that they need. Crash's face
I don't want chocolate from the deadliest villain. Yeah, Joker would probably poison it.
This is important to his character as well. It's rarely ever standing still. I don't just mean his expression either, I mean his hair and his snout as well. They're always bouncing. And then there's the slapstick death animations. The narrative structure of Looney Tunes cartoons
Very,
are
very
pretty
Looney
loose, and
Tunes.
The flow of the cartoons is usually done through going from one gag to another.
Dang,
to
I lost my
another.
train of thought.
Crash, being a game, has limited time for its cutscene moments, so most of the slapsticks represented in the death
I
animations.
lost these
Crash can
legs.
die in so many obscure ways. We see the best exercise of the vertex animation approach here, like when Crash
Ooh,
swells
swollen
up,
up.
with a balloon, or when he's flattened. So again, without this dedication to vertex animation that Naughty Dog had,
People just
other
want to die in the
characters
game
are
just to see those
easily
funny
forgotten.
death animations.
With this recreation of the first three Crash games, Vicarious Visions aimed for authenticity and embellishment of the source material. It was important to keep the careful design choices of the character and still use vertex animations
I will escape from Gotham City, and I mean it.
that the face can emote as well as it did before, which can be a bit trickier with models this high poly. Not to mention, he has fur shaders now. The most significant upgrade here in terms of animation is that Coco is a fully realized playable character. While she plays the same as Crash, she's still full of her own personality. My favorite bit of her idle animation is this one where her phone explodes and it can actually explode TNT or nitro. Coco is a level-headed and grounded girl who seldom indulges in Crash's crazy. Their dynamic is a cliche for sure, but I always argue that a good, well-done character that's cliche is still a good, well-done character. She doesn't deform or
In all
stretch
honesty,
nearly as
though,
much as Crash.
he looks
and
like
she
a
doesn't
fox
have to.
without a
It'd be out
tail.
of character for her if she did anyway. Their run cycles distinguish the two pretty well. Look at how Crash's weight shifts haphazardly, but while Coco walks the same pace, she keeps her balance more centered. This isn't just stuff with the run cycles, but how they walk.
Goofy, he runs in the original. Then Joker won't have a choice but to find someone else.
Oh, nice.
Joker
Run
always
from
has his
boulders.
ways.
And trek through mud. I
Mm.
appreciate the effort. Slide on ice. Run from boulders. And
Yes?
trek through.
Careful, don't mention any locations. What? I'm live streaming, I can't stop it. Okay.
Mud.
No.
I appreciate the effort here to flesh out Coco. Like, she didn't have to have her own animation for the beginning of Crash 1, for example.
She's adorable.
And yet she did. If I had to nitpick, she did seem to get the short end of the stick when it came to the slapstick gag death. Speaking of, the slapstick death animations were also embellished with more detail, like finger gestures, like when stuck in the snow, since these weren't possible on the PS1.
Wait, finger gestures?
The slapstick death
This makes me want to play the remaster again. Joker, I will leave Gotham City. And I will find a way to hunt you down. By that, I mean I'll find you. I won't kill you, my dear. Oh boy, can't waste such a wonderful life.
animations were also embellished with more detail, like finger gestures, like when stuck in the snow, since
Why is Crash doing the rock on gesture? What is that?
were also embellished with more detail,
Yeah,
like finger gestures, like
so much
stuck in
animation.
the snow, since these weren't possible on the PS1.
Yeah, you couldn't do it on the PS1. There were still limitations. You can't farm it. You never leave Gotham.
Some of the original death animations did lack some clarity, like the one where Crash shrinks but you can still control him, but in the trilogy, this is a set animation. Admittedly, there's a handful of ones I like more in the original, like Crash blowing up like a pufferfish in Crash 3. We're showing his face, which to me just looks funnier, but in the remake, he keeps his angle at where he was blown up from. Or how Crash will bounce multiple times through lava if he runs into it. But in the remake, he
It's
just
like that
falls
death
where
in
he
the
is.
bloody
It's
Mario
pretty
game.
intentional.
Boing.
Multiple times through lava if he runs into it. But in the remake, he just falls where he is. This is pretty intentional, though. The Insane Trilogy shortened death animations across the board so that you can get back into the action faster. On the flip side, anytime Coco looks right at the player after a death, it's a pretty good touch. In Crash 1,
When she's pissed off because you let her bloody Joker rude, you're blocking the door.
Coco will now react being hit with boxes constantly. When Sony greenlit this idea, it set
You
a
knocked
good rule
them
of thumb
out.
as to the kind of leniency Vicarious Visions had. Not to mention, it was a clever idea. We can't forget the details added to the elements around you as well, such as for enemies or bosses. Like Tiny, who goes from holding his lance up, which is fine, to him planting it in the ground and roaring. Even better. Even when you're not focusing on the environment, all the foliage animation helps bring the atmosphere to life.
Need a last minute tan? Try Bondi Sands.
No one cares.
This Revive has set out to establish that while they're following up on a remake of the first 3 games, they can develop a competent experience worthy of being a direct sequel. They made a lot of choices to set their vision of Crash apart from what's been done before, while embracing the gameplay and story formula of its predecessors. I'm sure many were expecting the Insane Trilogy art style to stay, though this series isn't really known for its consistency between developers in the first place, so I feel that if the
You're so stupid, Joker. What you have for me is not real. It is not.
changes are made for a reason and not just for the sake of simply having change, I'm down for it. I feel that Toys for Bob wanted their own rigs and models so that they had total control over how they could deform them. I could see the first shaders not playing nice with how much these characters can deform either. I think that by opting for pretty solid colors with subtle fur texture and
Gee,
the
look at all
ability
that
to deform the
personality
characters
in
so
his
much,
face.
Toys
And
for
he
Bob
doesn't
has actually
talk.
succeeded and
So
even
well
arguably
done.
surpasses what Naughty Dog set out to do. In some ways, Crash's intentional design is left intact, and he's so much more animated than before that he's basically beyond any kind of TV
Really
animation.
good.
Seriously, excellent job to the animators that worked on this game. Crash 4 has some of the most impressive, cartoonish, exaggerated 3D animation I've seen in a game. Toys for Bob's animators are flexing with every cutscene, pose, and facial expression. It is ridiculous how appropriately expressive every character in this game can be. These characters live by their exaggerated key poses and animations. Pausing at the right times will show us not just some hilarious motion stills, but how much these characters are able to exaggerate and to deform. Without the context, these animations just look so effortless. Now let's look at Crash and Coco's run cycles. The most notable change here is that jet forward they do when they start running. I found it kind of jarring at first, but this anticipation of Crash and Coco going from
Joker
their
howls
idle
and puts a heart
moving
round
is
Joker
made
howls.
noticeably clearer at all
And
angles.
Joker rubs it out.
And this will be a common theme
Not
among
a
Crash
thing.
4's animations. All of their actions have more concrete anticipation and or recovery, but they're still quick, which keeps movement fluid, and the more exaggerated actions are saved for when you're not in control. Anyway, the line of action is also a lot clearer here. These earlier run cycles are still great, of course. Crash in the first game was so scared and insane, he's just the epitome of crazy, but here the posing's so clean that we can infer maybe there's more to Crash than just being a lunatic here now. We'll discuss that again a little later. This run cycle also holds the key poses for
Lunatic?
noticeable
Oh,
amount of
please.
time
He's
compared
not
to the past
Ripperoo.
iterations. This is important across all of
On the
Crash's
wall so
gameplay
you can't rub it out,
animations. Crash
Joker.
holds the key
Lisa
poses on his
giggles.
actions longer than before, thus making them clearer to the player. Coco is also more fleshed out in her personality. I love the idle animation where she sweeps her hair because it's visibly falling back down over time. My first thought seeing this was, does she get tired of sweeping her hair up all the time? And the answer turns out to be yes.
She's a
Then
funny
the two
looking
still have their
Bandicoot.
unique cycles for
Such
being
a
on
short
ice or being
face.
scared. However, I don't think there's any muck they have to trek through in Crash 4, but you do roll an acute cage ball from danger. I love this little ball because of the details on Crash
That's
and
what you
Coco
see
while
in the
inside
fourth
it.
game.
When you hit a hazard, they lose control of the ball and roll around in it before regaining their
Is that like a
composure.
callback to
While
the
a pretty
fourth
good
game?
detail, it's also functionally important because it's conveying to the player that when you
I
hit
wish
these
I could get
hazards,
further
you're
in the
slowing
game,
down.
but I gave up
So you
quite
should try
quickly.
to avoid making them spin in the ball unless you're an animator watching. Then there's the jump. And Insane in the original games, Crash has some visible stretching. Coco does too in some of her riding levels, but in Insane, she doesn't stretch nearly as far in her jumps.
Look at that. Ha ha ha, nah nah.
I'll rub it out. I'll rub it the last thing I do. God damn it.
Like we said before, though, Coco doesn't have to stretch as much as Crash does. In Crash 4, Coco does this kick in her forward jump. This is a good detail because it keeps her as circular as Crash is when he does his somersault. This somersault is a gameplay choice to help really distinguish the forward jump from the jump in place and the crouching jump. And while Crash's jumps are symmetrical like they've always been, Coco's jumps are asymmetrical.
I really
She
like
holds
this
her hand up when
analysis.
doing a double jump. This distinction makes sense, plus her tablet jumps are asymmetrical, and she holds her hand up when doing a double jump. This distinction makes sense, plus her tablet is offsetting her weight anyway, and this is kind of present in the Insane Trilogy as well, it's just not as exaggerated. Either way though, it is an important detail. On ice, the personalities contrast a lot. Crash is kicking his feet really fast, and at a stop he still isn't composed. There is no moment of comfort or feeling like he's in control. Coco, on the other hand, isn't trying to skate elegantly like she was in the Insane Trilogy, but she keeps her focus and does her best to stay
She's
composed.
good.
Admittedly, I do
Very
like the
different from her
animations from her
brother.
on ice in the Insane Trilogy more. In Crash 4, she is slowly fading back into her eyeball. Coco, on the other hand, isn't trying to skate elegantly like she was in the Insane Trilogy, but she keeps her focus and does her best
Looks like
to
she's
stay
ice
composed.
skating.
Admittedly, I do like the animations from her on ice in the Insane Trilogy more. In Crash 4, she is slowly fading back into her idle pose, but in the Insane Trilogy, we get a proper, distinct sense of her being on ice. I also like Crash's swagger when he's walking in the Insane Trilogy, but I get that the swagger wouldn't be as indicative of his personality in Crash 4. Plus, there are now several characters that have to match the pacing of
Well,
his
if you
step
don't
that
like
aren't
it.
just Coco. Then we have the attack animations. New to this Crash game is the difference of his person being on ice. I also like
And she's
Crash's
doing that to
swagger when he's
Joker.
walking in the Insane Trilogy, but I get that the swagger wouldn't be as indicative of his personality in Crash 4. Plus, there are now several characters that have to match the pacing of his step that aren't just Coco. Then we have the attack animations. New to this Crash game is the difference between the spin while standing still and while moving. The first thing I did when I saw this was check if it was in the older games, thinking I had noticed until now, and it is. Kinda, but it just wasn't shown in the animation itself. The one constant of the spin is that it always comes out frame 1, but the cool thing about it is always how the look of the spin itself is achieved. In most of the games where Crash spins, there's a separate model used for the
That's really cool. Chaos Retro Gaming 30. Gosh, it's been a while since you've last been on one on the chat, on my live streams. Welcome. What's up?
spin itself. It isn't unheard of for motion smears, and it looks pretty convincing. The spin in Crash 1 had this very but the other versions dropped this. Crash 2 incorporated the limbs, so it's clear he's using his foot in it too. Crash 3 had a different spin depending on the level. Some places had the same spin as Crash 2, but in some levels there's no limbs in it at all. Then the Insane Spin is a sort of hybrid of the earlier ones. Now I say that because the way the faces are stitched together kind of reminds me of how Crash 1 did it.
Looks like a deformed mutant. I'm not Joker's wife, princess, or girlfriend. By the way, best friend, say hello to Chaos Retro Gaming 30. 3.0, I mean.
There's also a recovery to it again. And these look great, but I am a sucker for how the motion smearing was actually modeled within the original spins. Crash for the spin is really fast and straightforward, but the best part of this version is Crash's expression while spinning. Excellent touch of personality. The recovery
He's a
part
goof.
returns here too, so combine that with his face expressing, and this is definitely my favorite spin. Additionally, the dash spin is replaced with
I
a
think this
spinning
is-
kick, which works great with being an
This is
attack
the game
that
where they
follows
gave
from
him
the
the most
dash
personality.
and further expands Crash's
Probably.
straightforward arsenal of moves. Their crawling animations are, interestingly, like basically the most animal-like animations they have. Just look at how focused Crash is on his prey. And once again, this crouch animation now has a clear
He still looks like a
Ledge
fox.
animations also return in Crash 4, which I found were
Ooh,
previously only in
he's
some
about to
areas
fall.
of Crash 2. These are great for signaling to the player that they're about to fall over. I love how Crash 4 treats its ledges, because there's also a small force that keeps you from falling over. As we know, the Insane Trilogy has issues with its edges, so it's cool that they added
God, they could have added something there. I wonder who the third person is.
this. Then, when Crash or Coco jump off of ropes, they have this structured animation where they jump off. Like, the arc is consistent every time they do it. For precision-based platforming, the consistency of jumping off ropes is really appreciated. In terms of facial expressions, both of these characters' faces are practically defined by their personalities. Crash has this massive snout that he always works into his expressions, but he also has larger eyes to avoid being obstructed by it. He's able
Okay.
to be scared out of his mind, be loony, and, new to this game, be a lovable dummy. He's always quick to love and not directly cause the chaos. This lovableness is great as it adds more to his personality without losing that craziness, and it reinforces
Not to
how
mention he never
terrified he always
talks.
is. Coco's eyes aren't as large, but
That
she
is
has
so
a more
well done.
orthodox face for more relatable expressions. Again, Coco is a more level-headed character. We don't see her
Characters
deformed-
don't need to talk to be expressive. Do you want to see what face Lisa pulls to Joker? It's on Insta.
Let's see.
I remember that episode of Sonic. People outside of Japan don't do that gesture. What's it called again? Calm down. What's it? Japanese gestures. It's called an akme. Pulling down the eyelid and then sticking the tongue out. I don't think people do it outside of that country. Okay. Interesting. Haha, you deserve that taunt, Joker.
nearly as much since it'd be so out of character for her. It's more like Coco is just used to how insane everybody is around her. Everybody has their own reactions to the idea of replaying a level or moving on. Crash is afraid to go back through, which is that acknowledgement of how terrified he is. Coco's vibing with whatever the player wants. Tana's like, really? I want to go back? And Dingodile and Cortex are just ready to go. Like, they had fun. Like, seriously, they had fun doing what Crash and Coco have been doing
the
this whole
gesture's
time.
gone.
Just look at how happy Cortex
Oh.
is to be jumping on the boxes. One thing I've kind of omitted so far has been the slapstick death gags in Crash 4, because most of the hazards that'll realistically get you will simply result in the angels.
It won't happen, lol. Oh, the picture of Sonic is gone. I can put it back up. Okay, best
There's
friend.
plenty of unique ones, though, after combing through for them. Each character has plenty. My favorite gag has to be the RC robot one. Not because of Crash turning into a skeleton, but because of the scientist doing the Mandark laugh. And Basketball Coco is probably my favorite gag out of all of these games.
In the
I
garbage.
know that there's been a ton of praising here. I do actually have my hangups with Crash 4. I played this game super casually, which offered such a fair and engaging challenge in my opinion. And while I don't 100% Crash games, I totally understand those trying to 100% are pretty miffed at how frustrating some of the design choices were. There is an obscene amount of collectibles and hidden boxes that are in levels that are really, really long with a lot of boxes. I could definitely see myself if I tried to push myself to 100% it, I would get downright angry. Otherwise, I just really love the animation in this game, man. So thank you for letting me gush here. I hope some game developers or animators could join in on the conversation here too. Whether you learned something or have any more comments, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got for this video. If you like,
That was pretty cool. I can understand. What a bummer. It looked cool. What a shame. It looks good. What a shame. All death animations. Okay then. Oh. Oh, flattened. Hang on a minute. Oh, interesting. I can see his eyes. Could never really see the face clearly because of the low graphics. Oh! Burnt to a crisp. Your love, Joker, is nothing. Boulder hits the screen. Ooh, fried. Ooh. He's already dead! Don't just keep wasting barrels! Why didn't they keep it? Look, flattened. Oh. I'm considering whether to continue the live stream when Mum and my stepdad get home or to just quit when they do get home. I could continue on my bedroom, but what would I do? This is my favourite spot. And bugger it. I'll go in the spare room.
Ugh. Break from Harley. Oh.
That always made me laugh when I was a kid. Poor Paula. Oh. These death animations are hilarious. Ooh, he's taking him to heaven with him. Ooh. He's playing a didgeridoo. Can't get more Aussie than that. Ooh. Oh, you nasty bear. Joker's bedroom law, or is it Joker and Harley's room? Wow. Mm-hmm. What? Bloody frog. How would he know they don't just continue attacking? Oh, poor Coco. Was there an invisible wall there? There was no wall there. That was weird. Limited graphics. Hey, what the other dude? Oh, he stopped. He stopped. Oh, I can't kill him now. Fucking pterodactyl beat me to him. Blown up. Kaboom! Oh. Oh, you destroyed his boat. Ooh, angry seagull. Ooh. Anyone ever feed those lions? Lisa keeps saying Joker doesn't care about her. Joker's too busy to care. Ha! Don't touch the nitro crates. Oh, he got turned into a frog. Well, he's not dead. He lost his pants. Oh. Monkey with a bloody pot. Oh, was that a crocodile? Holy crap. Nice call back to the second game. Oh. Why does that fish look like him? And the shark knows it's no use. I dare you to kiss Harley, sir. Don't call me sir. Oh, the mummy just wants a big hug. He's not dead. Just defeated. Oh, poor Coco. Oh. Bloody shark. Deflated like a balloon. Drowned. Just like Sonic. You can't survive in water for long. When your own ally ends up accidentally killing you. Fuck off! Sir, Mr. Sir. Lisa keeps saying sir.
And it's annoying!
What? Evolution of the victory dance. Evolution of the burnt animation. Ha ha. Ooh. Yes, that is the model from the first game. You're about to get burned. Ooh. What's the point in chasing him when he's already dead? Oh, he is well aware he's dead already. Joker loves Harley. They are going to get married and have a family together. Lisa giggles. Stitch fan heart Lisa.
That's what I say about that.
Honestly, he was a lot more vocal in this game. Oh! Is that the fourth game? What about that mask that's voiced by Mark Hamill? He's coming for you, viewer. Oh. Wow. Voice clips. Oh, these are all the voice clips. Let me check this out. Walking circus.
What are you looking at, fuzzhead? I'm Rocco, the Earth Elemental. Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex woke me from my captive slumber, and now I'm free to pulverize whatever gets in my way.
You sure
don't
did.
Think about collecting those crystals, Runt. Because if you do, I'm gonna bury you alive. You want a piece of me, Bandicoot? Huh? Huh? Do ya? Huh? Wuss. Oh, I'm gonna shake, rattle, and roll your Bandicoot butt. Well, looks like the Bandicoot's been busy collecting crystals. I warned you, Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot, you've got some nerve setting foot into my domain without an invitation. Don't talk back to me. I'll fix that attitude problem of yours. Leave my levels alone.
That's funny.
They're gonna have to hang you out to dry when I get through with you. Ah, get over here, you little orange sponge. The Crash Bandicoot, eh? Oh, I've heard so much about you, and this is the hero I...
For a special day holding a lighter.
Seems like a bunch of hot air to me. Is there
Oh.
a draft in here? Not used to the weather here, I a wimp. Hey, look, the orange boy likes to fly. I realize my brethren have had some trouble with you, my little orange friend, but I'm not quite sure why. Is it getting hot in here? Is it safe to be wearing that fur? It looks flammable. I have a taste for some deep-fried Bandicoot. Hope you brought your sunscreen, 'cause you're gonna burn. Ah, the triumphant hero Crash, reduced to a pile of smoldering ash.
I can hear the Joker in there. Definitely. Leave my levels alone. All bosses, all cutscenes. And all went downhill from there.
Don't you dare!
Okay, time for some nostalgia. What about Crash to Insanity? I love the music in that game. Hmm.
No, you burnt the dress! You ruined it, my dear! You've ruined it!
Oh, Kevin Catastrophe. Why does it sound like they're saying shut up? What is this? Shut up. It says it does sound like shut up. Take this stupid suit. Doc-a-mock. Oh, Flight of the Bumblebee. I knew right from childhood that this was Flight of the Bumblebee, just remade. That was a funny level. There, Joker. Nothing. Good riddance. Oh, that wasn't a hilarious level. Oh, please, he never appears there. Now the riverboat. Lyrics. Fuck that, never mind. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Did they really? What? Worm chase?
Spastic hour!
Wayne, please be careful what you say.
No, well, get your own room.
Being an idiot again. Idiot! Throws them in the trash. Tikimon. Iceberg Lab. Catchy music. I'm glad. Get your arm off me. Joker pulls his arm down.
You will pay for ruining my suit.
Alright, I'm gonna skip to Ice Climb. I don't remember this track. Oh, it was cut! Well, that explains why I never heard it. Oh, I used to love this music. Oh, you got that right. I'm not sure what music this is. The Hybrids Overture. I'm gonna listen to the original. You lose to this, you have to start way outside fucking ship. Talk about rage inducing. Hated that level when I was a kid. Yeah, here it is. I think. I will not pay. They look horrid before they were burned.
You've made them worse. Far, far worse.
I'm gonna listen to the original. I hear it. Nice piece of classical music. The warp room. I remember when I was a little kid and I first got this game. Oh, the memories. Get off my shoulders, Joker.
No way.
Hope you don't mind the sound of this music, best friend. It's music from my childhood. Bum, 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 bum. Ooh, the snow levels. Very fitting music. Yeah. I think I'm going to stop this live stream now. Been an hour anyway. Bye, best friend.